Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Mind the Moments Thursday morning mindfulness session brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. This is the place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to talk with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we might incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino, and I'm so happy to be here this morning with Tara Healey, founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim's mindfulness program. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Suzanne, and good morning, everyone. Nice to see you joining.
Nice to see everyone joining as well. And today we will start off with a question for the group, and then Tara will lead us in a guided practice. So after that, we'll have time for questions from the group. So if you can go to the bottom of your screen and click on the chat. And if you'd like to see the comments coming in real time, you can just click on panelists and attendees under the drop-down menu. And that'll give you a chance to see all the comments coming in as everyone puts their thoughts into the chat. So Tara,
Right.
would you like to start us off with this morning, question one?
Yes. So I think for those of you that have been joining us regularly on Tuesday and Thursday, you know that every month we have a wellness theme. And this month it's the sounds of spring. And so what I'd love to do is just kind of kick it off with asking, what are the sounds of, as we transition from winter to spring, what are the sounds that are most noticeable to you? Maybe bring sort of a sense of comfort as we move from one season to the next, that make you smile, that that you're noticing, that you've been paying attention to. So we'd just love to hear that. And as always, I start off by asking Suzanne so we can give folks an opportunity.
Yeah.
Sounds of spring. How about you?
So I noticed this coming into the chat, but it's definitely the birds for me. And it's the variety of birds, I think, that I notice even more, that, you can hear the sounds of the birds communicating to one another, and that I find myself looking up, like, what kind of bird is that? Noticing the different types of bird song. So
Yeah.
yes, that, as well as, just during my walks, I noticed that the brooks, the water in the brooks, where I'm able to walk near water, where the water is freely flowing now. And that's always been a very soothing sound to me.
Yeah. No, so true. I would agree. This morning I went out pretty early. I think I was standing in my backyard, like a little bit after 6, or maybe not quite 6. And it was literally, I have woods in behind my house. And it was like a cacophony of sound. It was, I don't know if it's too early for peepers because I think they're in May, but what sounded like peepers and just lots of morning sounds of birds and probably insects. And like you just don't hear that in the quiet of winter. And I love both, actually. But let's see what folks are saying. Oh, peepers. Yeah. So maybe it is lawnmowers. Yeah.
I see someone saying the kids outside, which, yeah, it's really fun.
Oh, yeah. No, we have peepers. So it is peepers. Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah. It's so fun to see. The leaves. Yeah, the birds. I mean, it's really and this week the weather, for those of you that are in Massachusetts, I mean, the weather has been beautiful. Yeah.
It's dry season too, so we haven't had a lot of rain. I always look forward to hearing the rain as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Nice in Maine too. So with that, let's go ahead and we'll get into like a 12-minute practice or so, but just take a minute to just stretch your body a bit, just kind of move in a way that might feel helpful as we're getting ready to sit for 12 or 13 minutes. And as you feel ready, you want to choose a posture that feels like it'll work best for you today. Standing meditation is always a fine option. So, if for any reason you're feeling especially sleepy this morning, standing is a good option for that. So, otherwise, if you're seated, you want to sit or stand in a way that feels comfortable and relaxed at the same time, knowing that you're engaged. So you're upright, the spine is straight but not stiff. Eyes open or closed. If you decide to keep them open, you just want to gaze downward a bit. Closing is fine. So whatever feels best for you this morning. And on your own, take a couple of deep breaths as a way to settle any surface tension you might have from the activity of the day so far. And see if you can double the length of the exhale. So that just helps to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. So just on your own, take 2 deep breaths. See if you can surrender your weight into the support of the surface that you're on, yet maintaining that engaged posture, upright, yet relaxed. And just noticing how the body is, what sensations are making themselves known to you from your activity. So, with a wide angle lens of attention over your whole body, just take a moment to bring the attention inward to the whole body and just notice perhaps points of contact with the back of the body and the surface, or pulsing, vibration, heartbeat, temperature. What's the raw data that your body is offering? Just taking a moment with that. Just receiving. You don't have to label what it is, but just receiving. Just for a moment, expand the awareness outward to include sound in the room that you're in, or perhaps outside of the room. Again, with a receptive attitude in the mind. And finally, beginning to bring the awareness back inward, allowing sound occurring in the background to, of course, remain. We have no need to work against it, just allowing what's there to be there. But starting to bring the attention back inward to whole body, and even narrow that focus a bit more and begin to notice the rhythm of your breath. And see if you can identify where in the body the inhalation and exhalation is most pronounced. Your belly, your abdomen, chest, nostrils, or perhaps somewhere else. So tracking the sensations of the in-breath and the out-breath as to serve as an anchor for the wandering mind. No need to try to stop thought. We just simply notice when thought has occurred, that we gently escort the attention back to the anchor. So breath sensation. And The last thing I'll say is that if breath is difficult for you this morning, you could take the palms of your hands and place them on the tops of the thighs, or you could use the points of contact with the bottom of the feet and the floor if you're standing as an alternative to breath. So thoughts will come and go. As you notice thoughts, you can make a soft mental note thinking and then escort your attention back to the anchor that you're using this morning. Noticing where the mind is and bring the attention back to the anchor. And noticing where the mind is, gently releasing thought, returning to the anchor you're using this morning. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And may the benefit of our practice be for the benefit of all people everywhere. And as you feel ready, if your eyes were closed, re-engaging, opening the eyes, connecting with your surroundings and with each other.
Thank you, Tara. I was finding I was really connecting with the sounds during that time.
Okay, yeah. Do you have windows open in your house, or
No, no,
yeah, but you can hear.
yeah, there's a few
Yeah,
cars going by and
yeah, yeah,
just
nice.
little things.
Well, I'd love to just check in and see how that practice felt for you this morning, what questions that you might have, or what comments or thoughts you want to offer. So anything is fair game. Nice.
Relaxing.
Relaxing. Yeah, and it's nice. It isn't always that way, right? We know in meditation that whatever arises for us is what we work with. So yeah, it's all good. And I think that dispelling the notion that we practice just to feel ease, that we actually practice being with all the various states that arise and having some balance with those.
Mm.
And that to me has always felt so important. And it's also, I also love when a practice feels easeful and relaxing, because it's so pleasant like that. It's just that pleasantness is so nice. Um, and last week I was teaching a class where we were talking a lot about being with unpleasantness and how to approach even just an itch or a muscle cramp. I mean, those are good places to start. Like especially if you're in practice and your attention is called by a cramp. You always leave your primary object and you go to that body part that is calling you. And see if you can up the receptivity and curiosity about what the physical expression is of that cramp or that itch. So.
One thing that comes up that has come up in the past that I wondered what you thought about is if you're sitting and let's say you're working on some creative process for work or something has come into your mind that is something that you don't want to forget,
Yeah.
and something that you're like, oh, I really want to stop and write this down, or what do you think
Yeah.
about that?
I mean, I think Suzanne, that's a really common and valuable question. So I will say there are two schools of thought. I will never forget hearing Sharon Salzberg say uh, that it's okay to have a pad and pen and just jot it down quickly if it's something that feels incredibly valuable. There are other teachers that will say it'll come back to you. Don't worry about it. Just let it go. So
Mhm.
I think it just depends on how important it is, like what it is, yeah, just kind of weigh it. But I would lean, I can see the value in both. I can see the value in both.
Mhm.
Um, There was something else that came into difficult to stay focused for some reason, one of the comments. And I just want to underscore that, like, I don't think we ever quite know what a practice is going to be like. And so whatever arrives, it's sort of like the Rumi poem about whatever, these are all visitors and that we open the door and welcome all of them. Um, and so it's a very hard concept, I think, to lose the idea that should be a particular way. Not that that comment's indicating this, but I think there can be a lot of confusion because there's misconception, cultural misconception. But, just whatever arises is something for us to work with. And so sometimes my practice is really busy and the mind is just like secreting thought like crazy, right? And then once you see that, it's sort of like with a cramp or an itch. Once you become aware of that, then you see if you can actually observe it. I mean, that's like and can I observe this and just see what happens? Um, so, where everything is grist for the mill, like every thought, emotion, and body sensation is grist for the practice mill. So I think the most important rule of thumb is like anytime you are pulled by something, you let go of your primary object. So if it happens to be breath sensation, just let that go and go to that barking dog or that ambulance or that cramp or that itch or that onslaught of thoughts that are like a waterfall. And then when you feel ready, you return to your primary, so you just kind of, were the teachers who said it will come back to you on the younger side. I feel like they may have a better, um, no, not really. But yeah, I mean, Suzanne, the question you ask is that's an important question. So you know what, like if it feels better to you to have a pad and a paper next to you, then do that. But then you've got to watch yourself with it. You have to be like,
Yeah.
what else?
I feel like there are times, when I'm sitting on retreat, there are times when I sit down for a 40-minute practice that I feel like I have very little time of quiet. There are times when your mind is just going, and
Yeah.
like you said, you just every sitting is different.
Every sitting is different. And to your point, somebody saying I had to keep bringing myself back this morning, I did too, so that is actually, you're strengthening the muscle of concentration every time you it's like drops in the bucket of focus and concentration. So a thought arises, thoughts slip in unnoticed. I mean, that's what happens, right? And then there's this moment where it's like, whoa, the moment you wake up from it, you're now aware, awake, you're no longer lost. You escort the attention back, track that breath or that bodily sensation. Pretty soon you see you're in a thought again, bring the attention back over and over and over again. You're doing it correctly. That's strengthening concentration and focus. And, Suzanne, I've had similar experiences on retreat where, especially the first 3 days or so, where it's like the mind is so busy. But the interesting thing is the mind is busy like that all the time. It's just that I'm distracted with my life, so I don't see it as clearly. So it's always happening. It's just that when you remove all the distractions, the social media, your phone, your computer, your engagement with family and friends, when that's gone, the thinking mind is brought into stark relief. You see it, but that's how it is. That's how it is all the time.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, thank you, Tara. This was
yeah.
very helpful. And it's great to have, just anything that comes to your mind question wise, because all of us are in this together,
Yes.
all
Yes.
learning. And it doesn't matter how long we've sat meditation, every time is a new time,
Yeah, that's a good point, Suzanne. Really important point. It's just a new time. And to actually, a really good practice is just release expectations of what this practice is going to be like. Just release the expectations and just see. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Tara. Thank you for leading us today and,
Yeah.
bringing.
Well, yes, thank you also. It's so nice to see so many of you and, just continuing to join, to have this opportunity to be together and to, process and share questions and comments. And, I am a student and continuing to learn and just happy to be doing it with all of you.
Yes, most
Yeah.
definitely. So, and as you all know, we're back every Tuesday and Thursday. So we're happy to see you next Tuesday at 8:30 if you can join us. And thank you again for all of your comments and engaging
Yeah.
questions. And we will see you soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.